The 10 tribes of Israel, after they were left to follow the dictates of their own mind, and during the commotion and destructive warfare which ensued, to escape utter extermination, migrated, according to the usage of the times, in vast numbers, into various countries, but principally into northern Africa, as it then presented the safest and easiest route. I hope everyone is listening. Once settled, every commotion and intestine war had the most powerful effect of inducing these migratory bands to shift their abodes still further. In other words, they would move even more, and so lose all connection with the other branch of the tribe. In other words, they were sundered from one another. They were scattered. As hundreds of years pass on, and generation after generation roll away, they lose a great many of their habits and customs, becoming more amalgamated with the population with which they associate. I hope everyone is catching this. I'm spelling it out. This is yet another source that tells us who was in the kingdom of Judah in Western Africa. As hundreds of years pass on, we already read that. Hold on. But when Mohammedanism overspread northern Africa, destroying by fire and sword all those of another religion, the Israelitish descendants, or the inhabitants occupying the central portion of Africa, passed forward, seeking shelter to the south and west. Apart, namely those from the east central, crossing the Benue or Joloba branch of the Niger, descended gradually southward and became intermingled with the original inhabitants. And it goes on. So there is yet another source. Okay, we have these. This can be looked up. I could drop a link as well. West African countries and peoples, British and native, by European James Africanus Beale Horton. Okay. So this spells us out. This is yet another source that spells out that there were Jews, not only Jews, but other of the tribes of Israel in not only Western Africa, but Northern and Southern Africa as persecution increased, and people, because it wasn't just Assyrians, it wasn't just Babylonians, it wasn't just Romans that were hostile to these people, that caused them to move deeper into the interior of Africa, deeper into the southern part of Africa, as I mentioned earlier, deeper into the south of Africa, west. Okay, they were all over Africa. Still don't believe me? Let's look up another source. This map comes to us from the 1930s. So as late, quote unquote late, as the 1930s, excuse me, we have this map, okay, the Godby map of Africa from the 1930s. Look, I can leave a link. This can be looked up for yourself. Let me zoom in here. Okay, all the red text you see, all these red text is a map of Jewish migrations, Jewish/Israeli migrations and colonies/cities. Okay, this is what you're seeing right here. Okay, Yemen Jews and Falashas, Berber, Moorish, and Negro Jews. What's that? Negro Jews. Yemen Jews. I referenced that earlier. Okay, this note here says the names in red in the Northern Sahara are, I believe this is cases in which some Berber Judaism survives. It is estimated about 15,000 Jews are scattered through the interior. Other names in red are places of ancient Jewish colonies. What? Ancient Jewish colonies. In some cases, an approximate date of settlement is added. So we see here Jewish traces, Benai Ephraim, right? The sons of Ephraim. Okay? Levite cities, the Sao Tome Jews. This is an island. I'll do something else on Sao Tome. From the Sao Tome case is very interesting. The Movumbo Jews, okay? Other Jews. All of these, all down, not just right here in the Slave Coast, but all down to here, all over here in Ethiopia, and what we now call Ethiopia even, all right? And down south. This is from a map in the 1930s. The 1930s. All of these Jewish colonies and settlements. But people will deny this, will say it's not true, will say no, this isn't the case without a shred of evidence. Okay? I'm giving you physical, tangible, linkable evidence. Right? Because if somebody says, oh well, that's not the case. Well, that's not true. Oh, the what do you mean Jews were in Africa? You can't prove that. Show them. Don't just show them these maps, right? Because people will say, well, that doesn't mean anything. There's knowledge that you are now armed with. I've armed you with this knowledge. Tell them to, okay, well, if you're going to disprove that, then you need to disprove the Encyclopedia of Missions. You need to prove that this book is false. This encyclopedia from the 1800s is false. You need to prove that West African Countries and Peoples, British and Native by James Africanus is false. You need to prove that this book is false.